Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here and welcome to the Echo AR workshop. Today we're going to talk about how you can build an AR or VR application in 15 minutes or less. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat and let's get started. So we're Echo AR. It's a cloud platform for augmented and virtual reality apps, basically providing tools for developers and creators like yourselves to build AR/VR applications at scale. I'm going to start by saying hello. I'm Alon, founder of Echo AR, based in New York. Did my master's at computer science at Columbia University, specializing in AR and VR, and my undergrad in computer science, electrical engineering, specializing in cloud computing. So a certified nerd and a big believer in the AR VR space. Now, before we start, I want to level set a little bit because I'm going to use these terms a lot, augmented reality, virtual reality. So let's kind of define them together to better understand what they mean. So virtual reality or VR is when everything around you is digital, you're fully immersed in a 3D environment, and everything you see is this computer-generated image or CGI, in which you basically kind of see the world through a headset that projects all that imagery into your eyes. Your vision is fully occluded, and you're controlling the world through your hands or some kind of controllers. As opposed to augmented reality or AR, in which we still see the real world, but our world is being overlaid with computer-generated imagery, and we're looking at that world through some optical see-through, like some kind of glasses or a headset, or a camera see-through, like a phone or a tablet. A really good way to understand this is the amazing movie Space Jam, in which we have Michael Jordan being teleported into Looney Town. Everything around him is a cartoon. He's kind of fully immersed in a 3D environment, in a cartoonish environment. That's an example of virtual reality, as opposed to what we have later in the movie, which is augmented reality, where we have the Looney Tunes coming to us, playing basketball with Bill Murray and Michael Jordan. So that's basically the differentiation. Either we are being teleported into Looney Town, or Looney Town is coming to us. And another example of that is something that you all know in the real world is something like Pokemon Go. People are running around interacting with digital monsters that are not really there. Or we have virtual reality, in which we have this example for Beat Saber, which is a really cool game. You're fully immersed in a 3D environment, slashing cubes based on the rhythm of the music. So really, really cool example. Now, another example of this that is really, really close to my heart, and the pun is definitely intended, is this master's thesis project I did back at Columbia University. We took CT and MRI scans, converted them into from 2D to 3D, then put them on these smart glasses for the physician to wear, and they were able to see the inside of the patient while they're doing surgery. It was an amazing experience and a really cool use case of augmented reality in the OR, in which you, again, have this kind of 3D representations of the patient's heart floating above them during surgery, helping the doctor kind of navigate a catheter through their body. But the problem that in order to do that, I had to do something that I really, really hate, and that's waking up early in the morning. I had to go to the hospital at 6 a.m., take those 2D scans, convert them to 3D models, rebuild the application, and then deploy it to these smart glasses for the physician to wear. And that process was so frustrating and took so much time. And as a developer, I only wanted to do two things. I wanted to manage 3D assets, and I wanted to deliver them to an AR device. And when talking to other developers building augmented and virtual reality applications for retail and shopping and data visualization and obviously games, they all say the same thing. There is no easy way to manage and deliver 3D data. But if you think about it, that problem was solved for 2D data, right? If you're building a website, you can use something like Heroku as your cloud platform. If you're using, if you want to build a mobile app, you can use Sparse or Firebase as kind of backend as a service. So we went from web to mobile to now this new technology, AR, VR, immersive 3D, call it whatever. And the question has to be asked, who's going to build that cloud platform for 3D? And you've guessed it. This is what we do at Echo AR. We are that cloud platform for 3D applications, providing tools and network infrastructures for developers and creators like yourself to build AR/VR applications. So super excited about the workshop today. We're going to do a lot of non-technical stuff, a lot of technical stuff, answer any questions if you might have. Thank you for if you're here from a hackathon, so thank you for the hackathon organizers to kind of bring everyone together. And let's kind of get started, dive into some concepts, then let's do a demo, then some coding, and then, again, continuously kind of answer any questions. So the same way, again, if you think about it, you don't need to be a web developer to update a blog post. You can drag and drop an image or video. Suddenly they appear with web and mobile. Or if I'm in New York and you're in California and we're watching an episode on Netflix, we kind of automatically get the best streaming experience. We translated these concepts into augmented and virtual reality, basically providing you with a way to manage and deliver 3D data and get the best 3D streaming experience. And if you think about it, that kind of connection between content and target is really kind of bidirectional as opposed to image. You as a user, you can't move an image or a video on a website, but you can definitely move a 3D couch across the room, and that needs to be updated on the cloud. So this is basically what we've built, this kind of content management system and delivery network that's really focused on 3D content. It allows you to kind of change content across devices, and we're going to see how you do that right now. So the first step is just to go to our website, register for free to get your kind of API key, to get your project key, to get started. If you're here from a hackathon or some kind of coding event, use the affiliated link that we shared with the hackathon organizers, because that will basically give you some promo for our premium features for free. So definitely take advantage of that perk through the hackathon organizer. Make sure you use that link. And if you don't have that link, that's fine. You can always just go to this website and register for free. Now, after you do that, you're going to get an API key, and you'll get a kind of an email redirecting you to this console. So what you see on the left right here is our console, and on the right, you just see my phone. So I'm going to start with something super, super simple. After I register, I get this, again, project key. This is mine. And I'm going to start with something by just adding data to the cloud. So I'm going to click add to cloud. And I'm going to choose either a file, or it could be a 3D file, it could be a video, it could be an image. I can also choose from the collection of 3D files that we have right here, or use the search engine to search to any free 3D model that I want to use. But I'm going to start with something simple. I mentioned we are a New York-based company, so I'm going to throw in that kind of skyscraper. We take that 3D model that is really suited for 3D printing, and then we convert and compress it so it works on Android and iOS and Magic Leap and HoloLens, you name it. Once it's done, you're able to see that 3D model right here. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open a sample app on my phone. That sample app is available right here on the downloads page that you can kind of download for Android or iOS. I'm going to plug in my API key, so let's do that. Again, so that's the same key I got when I registered. Data will stream from the cloud to the device, and then automatically camera will instantiate. You're seeing my apartment right now. Camera recognizes the floor, and voila, the Empire State is here with me. And I can walk around it, walk inside. Super, super simple. Very, very cool. Now, what happens if I want to change it to something else? So instead of rebuilding the application or doing anything technical, I'm going to go back to this console, delete the previous entry, upload something else, and it will automatically work without you needing to kind of do anything technical. So let's swap the Empire State with this apartment building. Same process. We're taking that 3D model, building and converting it so it will work anywhere on the planet. Opening the exact same app, plugging in my API key right here. So let's do that again. Data again streams from the cloud to the phone. Camera instantiates, and voila, suddenly we have this different building. So a really, really quick example to show you how you can project 3D assets automatically. Okay, so what we just saw was an example of mobile AR, basically a mobile app that helps you to see into like the world of AR. Now what I'm going to show you is another integration that we have. For example, we work with an art agency that wanted to people randomly walk into an art gallery, see things in augmented reality without installing anything, because installing an app is a friction. No worries. You can actually stream that through web. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click this button right here. It will expose this kind of QR code that you can scan. If you're watching this video live right now, you can actually scan this with me with your phones. Most cameras have kind of a QR code scanner. So if you're watching it live, scan this QR code, and it will automatically kind of show you this object in augmented reality. It redirects to a website. You don't have to install anything. I'm going to click See in AR. Camera, again, will instantiate the cloud. You don't have to do anything technical. And voila. We're able to see the same building that we saw earlier, but now it's through the mobile browser. You don't have to install anything. Perfect. So I'm going to leave the QR code for you to scan for a few minutes, just so you can kind of experience this as well. We have a few questions. Manav is asking, is this available on Linux? Yeah, so this is all web-based. If you're using Linux, and you can use any browser there to kind of access the console and kind of stream data to your phone. So the app, we have a question here. What is the name of the app? So the app is available here after you register. You can use the apps right here and just download them. There's also SDKs here for and like code examples that we're going to dive in a little later. Perfect. So we saw mobile, we saw web. Now let me show you another integration that we're really proud of, and that's an integration with a game engine called Unity. So it's a game engine that developers really love to use to build applications. Later, we're going to see how you can build an application with Unity by yourself. But again, we open Unity, camera instantiates, no surprises there. Camera recognizes the floor. And voila, we're able to see that 3D model. But we have a question. There you go. How can we resize the building? Let's say I want to change something in real time. So perfectly timed question. So what do? We can click this button right here to expose the data panel, and then we can add some metadata to it. So for example, let's say I want to scale it. So I can do scale equals 2. Bam, suddenly automatically in real time, it kind of popped out and became twice as big. Let's say I want to animate in real time. So let's do direction equals right. Bam, suddenly it starts to rotate. So these are really simple examples to show how you can kind of control features remotely, change stuff in real time. And again, this is kind of free text, so you can add whatever you want. And this can, again, control features remotely when you're building your application. You can add, disable or enable if flows. Later, when we're starting the coding portion, we're going to see how you can kind of define your own features. But this is, again, a way for you to stream data in real time to the application and change things in real time. Again, if I delete this thing right now, bam, suddenly it's back to normal. Perfect. So we saw mobile, we saw web, we saw Unity, but all of these examples at this point use the same kind of technology of surface detection. The camera recognizes the floor or some kind of surface like a table or a chair, and then we overlay that with 3D content. Another technology that we support is image recognition, basically allowing you to put content on top of images. Those images can be a magazine, your business card, whatever. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to add some more content. Maybe now I'll add a file. I'm going to throw in just an MP4 file, just a video. And now instead of choosing the anywhere option, I'm going to do on an image, and I'm going to throw in an image, just a PNG file. Now we're kind of throwing that in, converting and compressing that content, the images and videos as opposed to a 3D model. But what we can do is maybe we'll start with the apartment building. If I click this QR code generator again, and then instead of doing see on the floor, I'm going to click see on an image. If I scan this QR code, and you can scan this with me if you want, it will redirect me to a website. You don't have to install anything, and you'll automatically be able to see that building, overlay this QR code. There we go. So as long as you keep your phone in front of the QR code, that image kind of pops out of the screen. How cool is that? As opposed to what we had earlier that we kind of put that on the floor. Perfect. So now let's do the same thing with just like the kind of custom image, or maybe I'll add another 3D model to show you another example that you can add content in specific locations. So I can kind of throw in this 3D model, let's say in New York, you can build an app that if you open it in New York, you're going to see the Empire State Building. But if you open it in Seattle, you're going to see the Needle. Or if you're opening in San Francisco, you're going to see the Golden Gate Bridge. So you can kind of cater your data based on locations. So again, uploading that, super easy. There you go. Yeah, people are asking what phone I'm using. It's the Google Pixel 3a, but you can use like literally any Android or iPhone. Everything should work, no worries. It's just my phone. Okay, so now let's kind of scan this QR code, like I mentioned, just to show you how you can use custom image targets and basically have your own. So I'm going to scan the QR code just to redirect to the website. Again, no installation needed. Browser opens, it says that it's loading. Now the camera isn't recognizing the QR code anymore, because again, we kind of matched it with an image target. So we need to kind of put this image in front of it. Opening that image, camera would recognize the image, and there you go. We suddenly have a video overlaying that image. I clicked it to kind of play, and I can resize it with my fingers, move it around a little bit with my fingers as well on the screen. So these are really kind of small examples. Really kind of easy to use. Let's see what we have. Someone says that their phone doesn't support AR. I'm sure that's not true. Try at least the kind of the QR codes, like this one at least, the one with the image. They should work on your phone. Even like really old phones should kind of work with that. So I would definitely suggest trying that as well. So we have another question about resources for 3D objects. So as I mentioned, you can kind of search for 3D models right here. So like inside the console, you have a search engine. You can throw in any word, and we will kind of find you free 3D models to use to throw in. But in general, if you find a website that has 3D models that are like OBJ, FBX, GLTF, you can kind of download them and upload them to Echo AR really easily. Can you put in links to YouTube? Unfortunately not. You'll have to download the video and kind of upload that to Echo AR, so we'll convert and compress. But good question. Perfect. You guys are asking really great questions, you guys. Okay, so what do we see so far? So we saw how you can upload images, 3D models, videos, how you can see them in AR really quickly on mobile, on web, and Unity. Now let's dive into other things that you can do in the console, and then let's review some kind of coding exercise. And we're asking what 3D model extension. So we have FBX, GLTF, USDZ, OBJ, STL. These are mostly, and I'm going to show you where you can find the list of all supported models in a sec. So we saw the downloads menu. This is a place for you to kind of find the example apps, some SDKs to integrate to your application, and some kind of pre-built example code that we are going to use in a sec. You can change themes, which is really cool. I go with the dark default. Here in the help menu, it's really powerful. You have a lot of kind of tools to use. So like our documentation in GitHub and Slack. So definitely, if you have any questions for our support team, go to our Slack channel, ask on the support channel. You can always email us or tweet us. In our documentation, I'm going to share that link here in the chat because I think it's like super, super useful. This is literally a step-by-step guide of everything I just did so far. So how to load your key, how to add a 3D model with GIFs, images. Here's some additional sources where we can find more 3D models, how you can create your own 3D models. So definitely go through the documentation to kind of understand what is possible. Also shows you how to recreate the kind of wow moment that we just had with kind of seeing things in augmented reality. Shows you how you can share 3D models. So like I can kind of share if you want, let's say this thing I can share with you all. If you go to this link with your phone, you should see that box right now. So let me share that with you. So definitely go through the documentation. It's a really, really powerful resource for you to kind of get started. Another really powerful resource is our GitHub page. It is filled with amazing open source examples of AR and VR that you can use right now. I'm going to share a few, and later we're actually going to build one together. But let's see what we have. So let's open, I don't know, let's do the election one because it's a bit timely, and let's do this one. And let's do face change and solar system. So they're like really, really amazing examples here of 3D applications that you can kind of grab specifically if you're working on a hackathon that will kind of hasten the process and make it like really, really fast. So you can kind of literally kind of start building, and a lot of the code is already there. We have a question, can we add Equira to an app? Yes, 100%. You can kind of integrate that into an existing app. Super, super simple. And I'm going to show you how. So this is an example of like an election demo. You throw in images, videos, some data, and there you go. You're able to kind of build this election visualizers on augmented reality. Here's another example of kind of a living room inside a living room. You throw in 3D models, you throw in a video, and there we go. Here's another example of something that you can build, like a face filter changer. Just throw in a kind of a texture of a face, and it automatically kind of changes. Check out this example on our GitHub page. Here's an example of an educational app around like learning about the solar system. Here's another example of COVID-19. We'll build that later, kind of a visualizer of the spread of COVID around different continents. Here's an example of remote work that we can have a person's kind of 3D face with a bubble saying some words, some text that you can inject through metadata. Here's another example with image recognition that you can kind of throw in different images and then bring them to life. So definitely go through our GitHub page to kind of learn more about the examples that you can build. Really, really cool stuff. Okay, what else can we do with the console? So we saw how you can add data, how you can manipulate it, how you can see it in AR. Here we have the data page that basically allows you to add data to the application. So we saw already how you can add data to specific 3D models, but you can also add data across your entire app. So we, for example, work with a company that did a scavenger hunt game, like a murder mystery game. So they had different objects associated with different scenes, but they also had like user data and like global data kind of associated everywhere. Subscription is a really cool page, shows you how much bandwidth, storage, and API calls you're making. So definitely check that out. If you're through a hackathon and you're using the affiliated link, you should get this tier for free. So definitely check that out and check out the perk. Here's another example of the location page, basically show you the distribution of content. Remember, we added that Fox in New York, so you can see it right here. See the servers are a superiority application, how your data is being used across the world. The security page is really powerful if you're working on it as a team, specifically a hackathon. Add your team members here so they can kind of work on the same project with you all. The insights page is really powerful. It shows you how people are using your data. So like we just streamed this apartment building. There we go. We see a spike in usage. So really, really powerful stuff. And kind of to see how your projects are being used. You can monitor the distribution of users that you have. Tutorials is a really cool page. It has a lot of frequently asked questions, a link to our documentation, link to our GitHub, some example projects that you can kind of, again, take because they're fully open source and expand on them. The inspiration page is actually my favorite page, it has amazing examples of AR, VR powered by Echo AR, like the art agency that used us for this art installation, or the mystery game, or a project that we did with Verizon. Like really, really cool and compelling projects around healthcare and data visualization and games and in COVID, for example. Here's a few projects that people submitted through hackathons. Really, really cool stuff around, again, like this kind of, what do we have here? A mask visualizer. So definitely kind of go through this to get inspired and see what you can build in all these different kind of use cases of AR, if it's healthcare, if it's military, if it's shopping, if it's training, if it's education. Kind of go through that really, really inspiring stuff. We have a few questions. Let's see. Is there a way to make a moving object? Yeah, so you can actually move it. Like you saw, remember I added the kind of rotation, it automatically rotated it. You can do that, and we'll see that how you can do that in the game engine later and kind of animate it, no worries at all. When we make an app using Echo AI, we'll be the host of the app. So if you're building a fully fledged app, you can still post it on like the App Store, Google Store, whatever, and we just kind of have Echo AI integrated into your existing app. If you do what I just did and you do like a web app that you kind of scan a QR code and then you can see that, everything is hosted on Echo AI. You don't even have to kind of post it on any app store. Can we use Echo AI to make a VR card for a friend? Yeah, 100%. That's a really good use case and kind of a really use kind of way to use AR. Let's see, does Echo AI let us code? Yes, perfect question. So that is a great segue to our next part of the workshop, and that's a coding workshop. So let's start coding a little bit. Everything we saw so far was very non-technical. So if you want to do that and you're non-techie, no worries, drag and drop 3D models, everything would work. Another thing that we support is, as I mentioned, game engines and coding through that, for Java and Swift and all that. So if you want to code your app through, let's say, Unity, you go to our documentation, you can see like all the technical documentation how to use Unity right here. If you're using, I don't know, Swift for iOS, it's here. Flutter, everything is here. You can kind of literally go line by line. Now we're going to do some examples specifically for Unity. You can find the open source code that I'm going to use right here. And we're also, if you want to get started, all you have to do is download this SDK. It will automatically, kind of, once you double click that, automatically integrate into Unity. So without further ado, this is Unity. It's a game engine a lot of developers love to use to build applications. All you have to do is download our SDK. After you install Unity, double click that, and it will integrate into this game engine. You can see that this is an empty scene. I'm going to click kind of examples right here. There's a scene here. There's nothing in this scene, totally empty. All you have is the Echo AR game object. I'm going to plug in my API key right here, and then I'm going to press play. Data will stream from the cloud to the game engine. And as you can see, automatically, suddenly we have that building, we have the fox inside, we have the video playing. Maybe I'll delete the video because it's playing in my ear. Let's do that. Automatically, when you change something on the console, you can see that automatically it kind of changes in Unity, right? I deleted the video, suddenly automatically it kind of deleted from Unity. Someone asked about moving objects. So I can go here, I can say I want the fox to move 10 feet away. Bam, suddenly it's 10 feet away. So it really simply examines how you can control things and kind of play around with 3D content in Unity. If I stop the application from running, everything disappears. So this is a cool example of, again, to show you the power of the cloud. That through your app, when you're building it, it's going to be super, super small because the assets are not really there. But only when you kind of press play, data will kind of stream from the cloud to the game engine or to the device. If I press play again, you'll see that everything kind of reappears. And it reappears in the same state that we had earlier, right? The fox is 10 feet away, the building is rotating. So what we have here is what we call a stateful content management system. It kind of remembers the state of your application and allows you to kind of conjure how to structure the scene. Perfect. So now let's do some coding. So I'm going to delete this building. Let's leave just the fox and let's put it back in the center. Perfect. So we have a fox here, and that fox is named Arctic Fox. So let's say I want to change something. We have a few questions. Can we add audio? Yes, 100%. You can add audio. You can add video like I did earlier. It's super, super simple. Unity supports that. Echo AR supports that as well. Great question, Kimberly. Another question that we have here, do we have an Echo AR app in a PC? No, so Echo AR is a service that kind of runs either through a browser or when you integrate its SDKs into different platforms. There's no app for your PC in that regard. Which camera are you using? Not sure what you're referring at. Do you ask about the kind of camera for Unity? If that's the case, that's just, again, the default camera that comes with the scene. Okay, so we have the Arctic Fox right here, and it's named Arctic Fox. But let's say I want to change a feature, and I want to give it a name. So what's cool about EchoAR is that every 3D models that have been instantiated with EchoAR has a custom behavior script attached to it. It's a script in C#, in Unity format. So if you know C# or any other object-oriented language, you should be good. It's in Unity format, which means that you have two main functions that we're going to review together. One is the start function, evident by its name, instantiates and starts when you kind of start the application. And you also have the update function. This is a really interesting function that kind of is being called upon every single frame. Remember, you're coding in 3D now. This means there's a scene rendering, there's like a video being played on the device. There's this kind of, again, this AR, VR scene that's being played. This kind of function is being called every single frame. This means that this function needs to be really well optimized. If that function gets hanged or gets stuck, your entire application will hang. Think about it as like an infinite for loop or like a while true loop that kind of constantly working. So remember your CS fundamentals to make sure that this function is kind of well optimized. But let's start with something simple. We have a comment here. This is actually less complicated than I thought. That's perfect. Yeah, yes, definitely. That's one of our goals, to make it less complicated for everyone. So let's look at this snippet of code and see what it does. So in the start function, we're saying, oh, we have this entry of data. Let's add some script to it that allows you to rotate and move it. Then we're saying, do I have any additional data for that 3D model? If I do I have any additional data called name? If so, set the name of the object to that name. Okay, simple enough. Let's see how that works. So I have this fox right here that's named Arctic Fox, and now I'm going to add a name to it. So as I mentioned, this could be anything you want. So I'm going to just type in name, and I'm going to call the fox Kevin, because I think it's a good name for a fox. I'm going to press play. Data will stream again from the cloud to the game engine, and voila, suddenly we have Kevin the fox. How cool is that? Super, super simple. And again, a really simple example of how you can kind of use in code data that we store on the cloud. So in this case, we kind of parse that data and place that as a name for the object, but it could be anything you want. If I change the name of the fox right here again, so let's change that in real time, nothing happens. Why is that? Because the snippet of code that kind of allowed me to change the name happened in the start function. If I'll restart the application, that snippet of code will happen again, and then the fox will be named Sam. Super simple. But what happens if I want this to happen every single frame? You guessed it. We're going to move this snippet of code from the update function to the start function, from the start function to the update function. And now when we go back to Unity and we replay, data will stream from the cloud to the game engine again. But now we have this new snippet of code. Every single frame kind of queries for the name and figures out as the name Sam, Kevin, or whatnot. So if I change this back to Kevin now, bam, suddenly it changed in real time. So really simple example, but again, to show that you can kind of stream data in real time, use keywords, use them to enable, disable if flows, enable, disable features remotely. And every time you change that, that will change for everyone using your application. We have another question. Which popular app uses EchoAR and any of the other apps? So as I mentioned, in our inspiration page, there's so many examples of applications built with EchoAR. Definitely kind of recommend you to kind of go through them and learn more what you can build. I think this is kind of really for you to kind of learn more about AR and VR and kind of the world of like what is possible. Another question or comment. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Used EchoAR before, but never used Unity. Oh, okay, awesome. So this is definitely the time for you to kind of play around with it a little bit. Definitely recommend it. And we also have a Unity project kind of ready to go right here, which is kind of fully open sourced, and you can kind of use it. It already has EchoAR, AR, and kind of Unity integrated together. Same with Flutter or React Native. So if, again, you can choose anything you want. Let's say Chaotic is asking, is it possible to make the name based on the user input? 100% yes. So in Unity, you can add UI elements, you can add buttons, you can add input things, anything you want. You can have a different website. Your app could connect here and send an API query. So for example, you can make an app. It could be a serverless app. It could be something in Python, whatever, that sends a query to the EchoAR servers and then changes the name with an API query. If I go to our documentation and I go here to API and then data, you're actually able to post data to the cloud through just a simple API call, which is really, really cool, because then you can structure your app however you like, and then you can change the name of this of this Fox remotely, literally by just kind of doing one single API call. Super, super great question. Other questions do we have? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we saw how you can build applications in Unity. Let's build another application that will be a little more complicated with a little more features. So let's delete this, and now let's upload a new 3D model. I'm also going to swap the custom behavior script under the hood for a new script that we're going to review in a sec. So let's upload our own 3D model. I'm going to use something that I have on my computer. And I'm also going to throw in this 3D model, but I'm also going to throw in this kind of CSV file. This is an Excel file in CSV format that has all these keys and values. Instead of typing them in, we can throw in this kind of key and pair values, and our system will automatically parse that and kind of upload that to the cloud as well. So let's throw that in. Same process occurs. We're converting that file now through my through my computer. And we also swap the custom behavior script. So let's kind of review it together. So now the script is a little more interesting. We have an array of continents. We have some dictionary, a data structure. The start function looks pretty much the same, but the update function is much more interesting right now. So let's review it together. So in the update function, we're saying, do I have any additional data? If I do I have scale? If that's the case, let's take that and parse that into a number. Then let's iterate over all continents. Let's ask, do I have any data point for a continent? If that's the case, parse the number that is associated with it to a kind of an integer specifically, so like a kind of a number. And then let's take the number and put that in a graph. If we already have a graph, let's scale it up. If you don't have a graph, let's create a graph. Let's give it a color, give it a name, create the cylinder that will be the graph, give it a location. People ask about how you can move objects. So this is how, like, you can set locations, like in code, like you can set a position, you can set a scale, stuff like that. Let's add some text to it. And if the graph, if the data point doesn't exist, we can delete the graph altogether. So let's see how that works. So we have Earth right here, super blue and beautiful. And we have all these data points right here. If I press play in Unity, again, data will stream from the cloud to the game engine. But at this point, the data is different. And look how amazing this is. And we built that in literally a few minutes. So we have Earth spinning automatically. We have all these different graphs reflecting all this data points that we have here. If I change something from, let's say, I don't know, Antarctica from 1 to 8, bam, that graph changed in real time. If I delete it, it deletes here as well. So these are really simple examples, but if like, you can take this example that is, again, open source right here on our GitHub page, expand on it, connect this to the WHO database for actual data as opposed to kind of plug in. That could be an amazing winning project in the hackathon, that you take this project, you expand on it, you make these kind of data points update in real time through an API, and you're good to go. How do you create a video or movie with Echo? So I'm not sure what you mean, how do you create? So you can upload 3D, like you can upload images, you can upload 3D models, you can upload videos as well. Go back and look at the video. And the beginning, we saw how I uploaded a video, and we were able to see that in augmented reality and stream that to Unity. So I'm not sure what you mean by create video, but you can definitely kind of throw in a video, and that will work as well in Unity. No, the Unity script runs kind of app side, client side. So when you build your application in Unity, and again, you can see our documentation how to do that, it will compile these scripts with your application, but all the content will be coming in from the Echo AR cloud. So that's kind of the way to do it. And specifically, if we go back to the code right here, you can see that we're basically kind of asking in the client side, do I have any data that came from the cloud? If so, I parse it and I play around with it. Can we use it for 360 videos? Yeah, 100%. You just need to throw in a 360 video, and that will work, and you can kind of play around with that in Unity. Really simple and really cool use case for augmented reality. So Sana is asking about folders. So you can create folders in the console, but you can create sub projects. So like I have Blue Water is like a main project, and that's like I have different sub projects that can, like, one can take all the videos, one can take all the audios, one can, like, all these different things. So kind of manage that through sub projects as opposed to folders. Great question. So the script needs to be optimized. Well, in a sense, yes, but don't worry about that. Like Unity kind of optimizes everything for you when you build the application. because that's the kind of your way to build a client-side application. And also, if you use just the web integration that we did with the QR code, that's also fine. And like then you don't like we optimize that everything under the hood. What else? Don't hate Unity. Unity is really cool, and you can kind of learn about it on our documentation page. And it takes time to learn, but it's really, really amazing. Awesome. So let's recap. So we saw how you can build applications. We saw how you can upload 3D content. We saw how you can upload videos, images, see them in AR on the floor, see them on an image, build an application with Unity. Again, I really recommend that you go to our documentation and kind of go through everything, because like everything is kind of step-by-step detailed here. Definitely review that. And now let's kind of go back, recap a little bit, and answer any other questions if you have. We can make a video by just compiling. I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean make a video? Like if you have an AR application, that's just an AR application that has nothing to do with the video. If you want to screen grab stuff, you can do that. That's on you, and then you just create a video, and that's okay. Let's recap. So we saw how you can upload 3D models, images, videos with no technical skills. We saw how you can do that for Unity, mobile, web, all at the same time. So you can, as a developer, choose any platform that you want. You can later build, store, and deliver that content to devices, headsets, web browsers. We saw all of that in the beginning. We saw how you as a developer save time and money just building your app backend. You just throw 3D models, automatically it works. We saw how if you're non-technical, everything we did in the beginning was really non-technical. Drag and drop, everything works automatically. And companies can send data all over the world. We talked about use cases. We talked about healthcare and shopping and data visualization. And we saw the inspiration page that is filled with amazing projects that people build with Echo AR. If you build something with Echo AR, send it our way, let us know, and we'll happily feature you in that page, add your projects so everyone in the community will be able to see. Also join, as I mentioned, join our kind of Slack channel to ask any questions for support team. So I'm going to share that link as well. A little bit more about us, the company. We won a bunch of awards. We're back with some of the most amazing investors in the country, like Imagine Ventures, Techstars, Verizon, and we're featuring all of these amazing tech events. So if things go back to normal and tech events are a thing, and you're there, try to look for our team and say hello. We'd love to say that we empower people to build applications across all platforms. So start building. This is definitely the time to build. I'm so excited to see what the applications that you're all going to build with Echo AR to kind of play around with them, see how imaginative you are. And also, if you're here for the hackathon, we're probably sponsoring one of the prizes. So if you're building something with Echo AR, even if it's with integrating with Unity or integrating with mobile or integrating with web through QR codes, you will be eligible to win that prize. So make sure you register. Again, if you're a hackathon, use an affiliated link to register. And yeah, thank you so much for kind of coming to this workshop. Thank you so much. I really hope that you learned a lot. This is the time to build. So start building amazing applications and tell us about them. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Stay safe, healthy, and sane in these weird times. And yeah, start building amazing applications with Echo AR. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat. And if not, have a good one. And again, stay safe and healthy. We have a question, can we make a character? Yeah, so you can animate characters in Unity. You just throw in a character, and then you can kind of use a Unity animation engine to do that, and then you can control it with Echo AR remotely. If you have any other questions, feel free to write them. We have, what CS extensions do you use? VS Code extensions, really depends. It usually kind of tells me to install them automatically. Like I have one for like Java, one for C#, stuff like that. Nothing really kind of out of the ordinary. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Really, really appreciate it. Have a good one and start building amazing applications with Echo AR. I thank you. Really appreciate the kind words that you're telling in the chat. And happy to see that you've learned a lot. Have a good one, everyone.